How's it going, everybody? This is Nathan at Kitten Equipment Company. Well, I'm not actually at Kitten Equipment Company. This is Nathan at Nathan's house. I'm the sales manager at Kitten Equipment Company. We are Northern Kentucky's Cub Cadet Elite dealer, 5-paw Premier Coyote dealer, the list goes on. And this is a new format. If you've seen any of our other videos, you have seen me basically awkwardly standing there with a cell phone, walking around a machine. I've been upgraded. So I've spent some money, I've got some stuff, and this is the new format for the video. It's still going to be the way I like to do it, which is hands-on, point of view. It's not going to be me standing in front of a machine and kind of like dancing around it and pointing at it. It's going to be me walking around the machine, showing you hands-on stuff. But even better than that, now that I have use of both my hands, I'm actually going to drive it. And it occurred to me that there's no better place to drive it than my own yard for two reasons. One, I get to multitask, which is awesome because it's a lot of yard to mow. And I get to use a lot of cool machines to do it now. Two, my yard is uniquely suited for testing mowers. It's got about everything you can throw at a lawnmower. And we're gonna walk around, I'll show you. First, I want to talk about the machine. The first machine I've decided to bring and test out my lawn. This is not my machine personally. This is our demo, the Cub Cadet Pro Z 560S. So this one is near and dear to my heart. I'll explain why. This is the first full-size Cub Cadet commercial unit. So the Pro Z 5, 7, and 900 series are all the full-size commercial units. This one is the first of those, meaning it's the cheapest, but it has all the full-size features. It's on the full-size frame. It's got the 777 gauge steel deck, 15-gallon fuel tanks, and you know, it's a commercial mower, so it's strong, but it doesn't have all the expense of the bigger units where they have the electronic fuel gauges and the air ride seat. It's a Kawasaki FX 850, so it's 27 horsepower, commercial series Kawasaki. The larger 31 and 35 horsepower are obviously going to be more powerful, but they're going to be more fuel consuming as well. So this one is kind of the sweet spot for somebody who has what I have. I've got 4 acres total here that we're mowing of pretty serious yard, but it's not going to be drinking fuel because I don't need to mow 16 miles an hour. So it's really cool and it suits that purpose well. This is also the steering wheel model. So if you look at Cub's model numbers, Pro Z 500 series and 60-inch deck, so Pro Z 560, and then there's L or S. Every model they make both in a lap bar or steering wheel configuration. This is the steering wheel, and in my opinion, I need it here. I've got a pretty serious hillside over there, and we're going to go take a walk around. I'll show you that later. And it'll really give you an idea of why I need it. But if you've done any research on these, you'll know the steering wheel is a lot more, what's the right word to use, confident on hillsides than the lap bar is. The lap bar tends to lose steering, and it's not just a Cub Cadet problem, it's across the board. They tend to not steer very well when the rear wheels lose traction. So on hillsides, the steering wheel does much better, and because of that, it really does great over there. And I'm going to show you that. So not only are we going to talk about this thing, we are going to actually mow grass with it. So this is going to be a long video, and I'll probably do some time skip and really play it a little bit quicker, and then we can kind of see how it did in the end. What's also cool is that after we're done, I'm going to give every mower that I demo here a time. So we're going to actually see how fast it can mow my specific yard, and every mower that I try is going to get tested in the exact same way in the exact same spots, and I'm going to try to keep it the exact same conditions, and we're going to figure out how they do. So a little bit more about the Pro Z 560S. Again, full-size commercial unit, the first of them. So the deck is a 777 gauge fabricated deck. It means it has 7 gauge steel plate as a base, and then it's got a 7 gauge reinforcement wrap and around the sides and back and front, and then it's got a 7 gauge additional plate where the spindles mount to the deck. So if that spindle hits something, there's a little bit of extra reinforcement to keep the deck from tearing. Big heavy cast spindles and pulleys, they're non-serviceable, and you see that in the full-size commercial stuff now, so non-serviceable, but if you saw the size of the shaft and the bearings inside there, they're really heavy duty. Same with the front end. This is the heaviest front yoke in the industry. Big heavy cast front end. It is pivoting front axle. When Cub Cadet designed these, they kind of had the idea, don't make it too complicated. We're not trying anything new. We're taking very trusted commercial components. This has, you know, Kawasaki FX series engines. It's got Parker transmissions. These are 12cc. We're going to put our spin on it. You know, they'll put their steering system on it that Cub has the patent on. But we just want to do it right and heavy and for a good price. So we sell a lot of these in our area, both flat bar and steering wheel configurations. People tend to really like the steering wheel because in Northern Kentucky and the tri-state Cincinnati area, we have so much hillside as you get closer to the river especially. So people really like these, but it's a great unit. It's the first one I'm going to choose to do this yard, and then who knows, let's see what we're going to have the next week or two. It might be interesting, but let's take a walk around the yard. Being the first video, we're going to see exactly what we're dealing with here and why this thing is a great yard for different conditions. So first off, the grass is definitely high. This has been a crazy last few weeks for me. We're busy at work. There's a running joke among lawnmower sales guys that we sell the best equipment to mow grass in the world, but our grass looks the worst amongst all of our neighbors because this is our busiest time of year. So the grass has gotten high. I've also got our first child on the way. He'll be here in about a month. So life has been hectic. But that's also a good thing for what we're doing because we don't want to make it easy, right? A personal hero of mine, Tom Platts, says that if it ain't hard, it ain't worth doing. So we're gonna actually put this mower through its paces. We're gonna give it some heavy grass. We're not gonna try to go slow and be easy on it. We're gonna use it like I would use it practically week to week. So as we walk through here, this is the backyard, the old wood shed / chicken coop. I also need to weed eat a bunch, so don't judge me there. That'll be happening after this video. Say hi to the chickens. You all good in there? Your food's good. Look, you're getting big. So as we go through here, I don't cut this back hill. I'll bush hog this. I've got a little tractor. I'll bush hog this every few months, but I don't usually cut it with the mower. We don't use it for much. So we stop here where this wet, it's not really a creek, but it's a ditch that cuts all the way through. So I always stop here. I have a wood pile where we cut a tree down. That's gonna have to be burned. So I cut around that, through the backyard. And we've got our little well here. There's a pretty serious little incline behind the well, but that's not the one that we're gonna be seeing later. I'll show you the hill later on the other side of the property. As we walk over here, I've got these two garages, and here's another part. You know, we've got a nice wide open area. We've got a nice wide open area back and forth over here. I've got a lot of corners and things to get around. So a lot of people ask me, okay, the steering wheel, does it defeat the purpose of being a zero turn? Because a zero turn, you can really turn quickly. And the steering wheel version of it, obviously you have to take the time to turn that wheel over. So it does take a little bit more time to make those instantaneous 90-degree turns. But what most people have is not, you know, constant 90-degree turns. We're not mowing a cemetery. Most people have what I have. They have trees, they have wide open areas, they have some stuff to get up in between. So when I get a stick unit, and I probably will do that pretty soon, of a comparable size and power, I will put it up to the same test, and we'll see which one ended up being faster at the end of all this. So here's my straightaway. I've got all the way up to the road here, and this will be where I get the most speed. So we'll try to get it flat out. It's not smooth. That's another thing about this yard, is you know, it's hilly and it's got bumps. I do deal with the mole invasion, so it is not a smooth yard. Which means we won't probably get the absolute highest speed that these things can do. that Pro Z500, that thing can go like 12 or 13 miles an hour flat out. But if I really start maxing that out, I will probably get thrown off of there. The grass is thick here. I bet we're 6 to 8 inches. All right, so we've made it up to the front of the road. I've got all this tree work here we have to get through. Being a full-size zero turn, it can get in the way. You know, it's big. So, like a 16-inch deck, I can't fit through here. I have to weed eat all this, but it gets most places. 60 inch is a really good size. I don't think I could use a 72 very well in my yard. So as we walk, this is the front yard now, here's the house. As we continue to walk down, this is the big culprit. And this is why the neighbors don't mow their own grass. They actually let me do it because their equipment isn't really suited to handle this hill. This hill tends to hold water, it doesn't drain off very well. So I had to wait until we got a dry day, which is another reason the grass is long. I'm gonna get these sticks up out of the way while I'm over here. So as we walk down this hill, videos and pictures never really do hills justice. I get a lot of people that walk in the door and are looking for mowers at work, and they give me a picture of the hill and they say it's crazy. And you look at the picture, it doesn't really look that bad, but if you actually get on it with a piece of equipment, it's a totally different story. I'm sure you all have experienced that. And actually, believe it or not, the neighbor's hill is even worse than mine. So I actually mow this for them, and that is going to be incorporated in our test because I want the steepest possible slope to see, you know, what these things can do when you actually get some hillside. I will probably end up getting stuck with a few pieces of equipment that we're going to try to mow that hill with, so we'll see what happens. But I probably won't do that hill with stuff that doesn't have roll bars on it. You know, safety first and all that. I'm willing to sacrifice a lot for these videos, but probably not that far. So here we are, we're at the base of the hill, and the hill runs, it's probably a good 1/4 acre of hillside between here and back there. So we're walking down through it, and I've got woods. There's constantly trees and things falling in from the wood line up against me. So that's something to contend with always. I'm always picking up sticks out here. And as we get back here, this is about where we started. So the corner of the backyard, and that is going to be our mowing radius. So altogether, just about, I don't know, 2.5 acres, hillside, straights, corners, things to get around. I think it's going to be a really good test for a bunch of different equipment to kind of give people a great idea of how it's going to do on their property, because I'm sure everybody's got something like this. So I guess we're about done with this part. You've heard me talk enough. We are going to take the Pro Z560S for a spin, and you get to watch me mow the whole yard with it. So stay tuned. All right, so here we are. We're in starting position. I'm going to be very fair. I'm going to try to start everything in the exact same spot here in the driveway. I'm going to start right there. So I always do the backyard first, cut over, do the side yard, and then do the front yard with the hill last. So I guess let's find out how this thing does. Oh, safety first. Hold on. I told you guys I was going to put the roll bar up. Now, full disclosure, I don't always do that, but for today, we may need it because we're going to do that steep part of the hill. So roll bar goes up easy, just a pin up roll bar. To run this thing, quick walk over of the controls. We've got a regular key start, throttle obviously, PTO. Over here on the steering wheel and lap bar units, they both get an e-brake. So it's a pool style e-brake. You've got a deck lift with a transport lock, so we can lock it up at transport. I'm gonna mow my grass at 3.5 inches. I would like to make that the standard. It tends to work well in this yard. So 3.5 inches will be the standard as we go. We'll see how the cut quality is afterwards. There's a choke on the left and a key on the right, so you don't have to move your hand over. Just a little thing they thought about. So I like to do middle throttle, give it a little bit of choke, turn the key over. Oh, a little more. And we're off. Whoo, backfire. So now that we've done my yard, and this is gonna mess with the time a little bit, but we're gonna do the hill. And again, this is the steepest spot of what I mow, and it's pretty intense down there. So this steering wheel should be pretty good. The steering wheel zero turns are, but we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna do a little bit of up and down. I'm gonna do some side to side to see how it does, and we'll see. So we're gonna attack the hill. another backfire. Wow. So all in all, that did a really good job. You can see I almost got stuck, and I'm gonna make sure to point that out in the video. That fruit tree right there, I'm used to mowing this with my four-wheel drive subcompact Coyote with a mower deck. So when I put that thing in four-wheel drive, I can drive right up to that tree and back right up. But with this, honestly, I forgot. Even though this steering system really helps navigate this hillside, it has more weight, it helps keep the front end planted going up, it still has that same issue. So if you're driving down a hill, you really can't back up unless you're going to change the tires over and give yourself something a little more aggressive in the back to help you get traction. If you're going down, you have to go down. You can steer out because you have the steering wheel instead of those sticks, but I almost got stuck there. So besides that, we're done. I got it all done. So I'm going to post the time here. I have no idea what it is yet. I'll have to go do the math. And this thing really did it well. I'll go point out, I'll do an after walk after this, and I'll go see how the grass looks. Although today it was the grass was so high in some places, it's not really fair to cut it like that, but I think this thing really did a great job, and it was comfortable. I don't feel fatigued. I've got this nice seat, and it did everything. It did everything my tractor does. I'm on the hill, I got the flat, I can go right around the trees really quickly. It did awesome. So I'm gonna stop it there, and then we'll meet back up in the yard to see how the cut looks. All right, so let's see how we did. This over here is probably the most important spot because it's nice and open and flat, so I could actually get some lines. This yard's so chaotic, and I'm telling you, as I'm mowing, I'm going, wow, everybody's gonna see how crazy I am when I mow and how chaotic I am. But with a yard like this, there's really no choice. There's so many obstacles and things to get around and hills that you really have to cut it the way that's efficient and safe. You can't exactly make sure everything's exactly perfect and pretty. But right here, the grass is very high. It grows really high right here. You probably saw that as we were going through if you were paying attention. And it's nice and straight, so I can actually try to get some stripes out of it. And after looking, it looks like it cut it nice. Even as high as it was, it cut it nice and clean. There's a couple, maybe a few little stragglers here, but nothing real obvious. And you can actually see there's some good striping in it. So it did a good job. We're really going to see tomorrow. You know, stripes tend to show up the next day. But yeah, even as high as the grass was, and that mower deck is not one with a striping kit on it. I'm curious to see if I get a Pro Z 700 or 900 out here, which I'll do because I want to see how much the extra horsepower helps. I'm gonna see what that stripe kit actually makes this look like, because it looks great even without it. But yeah, overall we did a great job. The grass is cut clean and pretty. The time we're gonna see, but I'm gonna guess is pretty good. And eventually we're gonna compare that to tractors and stick zero turns and all kinds of other lawn mowing equipment, and we're gonna see how it holds up. So thank you for mowing with me after our very first Mow Nathan's Yard video with the famous Pro Z 560S. I think it was a success, and I hope you all join me for more. So feel free to subscribe to the channel and tune in for more different mowers. If you're curious about a mower model that you're looking at and you want to see how it attacks this yard, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'd be happy to see if I can get one. We are a dealer for Cub Cadet and Hustler, so I have access to all their products, and I'd be happy to take one for a spin here and see how it does. So thanks.